Third graders, today we are working on math lesson 15. So problem set 15 in our unit 7. We're working on perimeter still. Our I can statement for today, it says I can solve perimeter word problems. So if you look at your lesson for today, lesson 15, they're all word problems. So we're going to be using the RDWW process and we're dealing with perimeter. So go ahead and put your name and date on your paper and we'll get started. Okay, do you remember what perimeter is? I hope so because we've been working on it. But if we were just to kind of say a basic definition of perimeter, what would you say? Would you say, hold on, I had to get my charger because my Chromebook's dying. All right, let's try that. Okay. Would you say that perimeter would be how much takes up the inside of a shape? What is that called? When we're talking about the inside of a shape, that is called the area, right? When we're dealing with how many square units fill up the inside of a shape, that's area. Perimeter is a distance around the outside of a shape. So I keep talking about our sticky note, find the perimeter of our sticky note, but that's just always a quick review to kind of get us back into that perimeter mindset. When we found the perimeter of our sticky note, we found that each side of the sticky note was 3 inches. So then we could do 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So the perimeter equaled 12 inches. Or we could do 4 times 3 because there are 4 sides and they each equal 3 inches. So 4 times 3 equals 12. So we're going to bring that knowledge of perimeter into our word problems for today. Okay, are you ready? All right, let's take a look. So name and date should already be on your paper. Number 1 says, go ahead and put your finger or your pencil there and just follow along with me, please. Okay. Mrs. Coslow put a border around a 5-foot by 6-foot rectangular bulletin board. How many feet of border did Mrs. Coslow use? So we want to do RDWW, right? So RDWW, do you remember what that stands for? Read, draw, write, write. So read the problem and put our parentheses and underlining and highlighting if we need to. Draw a picture to match it, write a number sentence, and write a word sentence. All right, so we read it, but let's go back through and pull out the important information. So Mrs. Coslow put a border around a 5-foot by 6-foot rectangular bulletin board. So 5-foot by 6-foot is important. And I also know that it's a rectangular bulletin board. So I'm already thinking of my picture. And my picture, what am I going to draw? I'm going to draw a rectangle because it says that it's a rectangular bulletin board. So let's just go ahead and do our rectangle right in there. And then our question says, how many feet of border did Mrs. Coslow use? Okay, so we did our read. We started our drawing because just seeing that rectangular bulletin board, seeing that word rectangle, made me automatically want to draw that rectangle. Because it was just made me imagine that bulletin board, that rectangular bulletin board. So I went ahead and drew it. And the bulletin board is 5-foot by 6-foot. So I'm going to label the side lengths 5 and 6. I'm putting the 5 on my shorter side and the 6 on my longer side just to kind of make it match a little bit. Obviously, we're not going to draw 5 feet and 6 feet on here because if we think of a foot is a whole ruler. So if we're making 5 feet long, we would be measuring the length of like basically 5 rulers, right? And then the same thing for 6 feet. We would have the length of 6 rulers kind of back to back and measure it that way, and we can't fit it. So we're just kind of estimating, we're drawing this picture to represent 5-foot by 6-foot. Now, what do I do with these two numbers? Because here's where area and perimeter are very easy to mix up. When we would do area, we are so used to just putting a times symbol in the corner there and multiplying. Is that what we're going to do today? No, because if I do that, that tells me how many square units would fill up the inside of this rectangular bulletin board. That's not what we want. We want to know how many feet of border she's going to have to use. And we know that the border goes around the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in these 2 missing side lengths. Can I figure out those 2 missing side lengths? It's a rectangle, and what do we know about rectangles? Opposite sides are equal, right? So if this side equals 5, do I know what this side equals? It also equals 5. If this side equals 6, do I know what this side equals? This also equals 6, right? Because with rectangles, opposite sides are equal. So now I know that these two side lengths are 5 feet and the top and the bottom are 6 feet. Now can we figure out how many feet of border Mrs. Coslow uses? Yes. So we're going to do P equals 5 plus, and again, I can order these numbers that I'm going to add in any way, but I'm already thinking of adding the two 5s together to get a 10. So I'm just going to put those side by side. 5 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6, but you could do 5 plus 6 plus 5 plus 6 as well. So like I said, I'm going to group these 5s together to get a 10, and I'm going to group those 6s together. What is 6 plus 6? 12. And then I can just add these two numbers together. And if you feel comfortable to add those together using mental math, you can definitely do that. What is 10 plus 12? 22. It would be 22 feet. Look for your label. 22 feet. And if not, you could absolutely, or you could just even check yourself. 0 plus 2 is 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. So you could do it that way as well. Let's look, because I haven't crossed off much on here. So we did our read, we did our draw, we wrote our number sentence. So what's left? A word sentence. How many feet of border did Mrs. Coslow use? She used 22 feet of border. Period. Okay? Make sure your sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with a period, okay? Good. If you're finishing up with that, you can pause your video, and when you're ready, join me on number 2. All right, number 2, put your finger on Jason, and will you read this right along with me? Okay, here we go. Jason built a model of the Pentagon for a social studies project. He made each outside wall 33 centimeters long. What is the perimeter of Jason's model Pentagon? Okay, so this is RDWW again, right? Okay, and I see there's nothing here that says how many sides that it has, but I do see that he's making a pentagon. Twice it talks about the pentagon. That I'm making a pentagon. And how many sides does a pentagon have? So we need to know that in order to solve this problem, right? So how many sides does a pentagon have? Did you say 5? Good. A pentagon has 5 sides. Okay. So he's building a model of a pentagon, and he made each outside wall 33 centimeters long. There's a clue word. Do you have your highlighter ready? So always just have your highlighter handy for math, okay? He made each outside wall 33 centimeters long. So each outside wall is 33 centimeters long. What is the perimeter of Jason's model pentagon? So there's our read. What's next? Draw. He made a pentagon. A pentagon has how many sides, we said? 5. So do you know what a pentagon looks like? Do you remember? So we said like the classic pentagon can look like a house. That's kind of the most easily recognized shape of a pentagon. But really a pentagon can be any 5-sided figure, right? As long as it's a closed shape, a closed polygon with 5 sides, then that would be a pentagon. But we'll go with this. So, and it has 5 sides. Each side of the wall is 33 centimeters long. So what do I label on here? I'm going to put 33 for all 5 sides. Okay. So there's my pentagon with 5 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and each side is 33 centimeters long. Now, how do I find the perimeter of this? I can add this all together, right? So I'm going to do P for perimeter equals 33 plus 33 plus 33 plus 33, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 33. That's a lot of 33s, right? Okay, so there's different ways that we could do it. We could put all our 33s just in a big column and add them together. What is 33 plus 33 if I'm to do it that way? 33 plus 33 would be 66. So 33 plus 33 is 66. Or if I felt comfortable adding that other 33 in there to that one, and that would be 99, right? But doing that, I'm kind of breaking it up even smaller to add those numbers together. So I've got 66 plus 66 plus 33. That's one way to add them together, right? We'll just go with that for now. 6 plus 6 is 12, 13, 14, 15. 5, carry the 1 up top in the tens, okay? So again, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that would be 165 centimeters. Okay, 165 centimeters. Again, there's different ways that you could add those together, and I'm going to show you something in just a little bit. So if you just hang with me for a minute, let's finish this off though. We did our draw, we wrote our number sentence. What's left? The sentence. What is the perimeter of Jason's model pentagon? I'm going to write this in cursive, this sentence, but you don't need to. Okay, if you want to challenge yourself for cursive, then go for it. Okay, so the perimeter is 165 centimeters. There we go. Are you practicing your cursive? Good. I'm going to get a sticky note because I just want to show you an extension. This would be like a getting ready for 4th grade or a 4th grade skill because we see the word each here. So each tells us that we're going to multiply or divide, and I'm just going to put it on here. If you have room to stick it in there, or you can just watch. But we have this pentagon, and each side is 33 centimeters, and there's 5 sides. So we know that if we have a shape where all sides are equal, I can multiply. So 33 times 5. You might say, well, Mrs. Brill, you haven't showed us how to do that. And I haven't, because this isn't even a 3rd grade skill. This would be like for 4th grade, but maybe some of you are ready to learn this now, or maybe you already do know. So let's give it a try. So we're going to do 33 times 5. We're going to set it up like that. So put the 5 right under the 3 in the ones place there, okay? So now we're going to multiply. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here in the ones, and I'm going to do 5 times 3, which is 15. So I've got 5, carry the 1, 5 times 3 this way. So I started out going up and down, and now I'm starting to go this way. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. So I put that there like that. And then I get the answer of 165, which is the same thing that we got there. Pretty cool, right? And it's shorter than doing this. But again, this is a 4th grade skill, but I'm just showing it to you now. So again, you start in the ones. 5 times 3 is 15. 5, you're going to carry that 1 in the tens, and then we're going to multiply this way, the 5 times the 3 in the tens, which is 15 again, add that 1 on top, plus 1 is 16, so that gives us 165. So that would work in something like this, where we multiply it like this because we're multiplying a single-digit number times a 2-digit number, okay? All right, moving on. Number 3. The Holmes family plants a rectangular 8-yard by 9-yard vegetable garden. So I'm already imagining this picture. How many yards of fencing do they need to put a fence around the garden? Okay, so this is RDWW, right? Okay, so the Holmes family plants a rectangular 8-yard by 9-yard vegetable garden. So it is a rectangle. Again, I was visualizing that my first read through. My question is, how many yards of fencing do they need to put a fence around the garden? So it's a rectangular 8-yard by 9-yard vegetable garden. Do I just put a time sign in here and multiply these two numbers? No, because that's finding area. We want perimeter, which is the distance around the outside. So I need to fill in my missing side lengths, right? What would this bottom side length here be? 9, right? Because the top is 9. And what would this side length here be? 8, because the opposite side is 8. And we know that in rectangles, opposite sides are equal. Why don't you pause your video and go ahead and find the perimeter of this for me, okay? All right, let's see. So perimeter equals 9 plus 9 plus 8 plus 8. The order that you write those numbers in does not matter. I know that 9 plus 9 is 18. 8 plus 8 is 16. So we could do it like that, right? And then I'm going to add those two numbers together. 8 plus 6 is 14. 4, carry the 1. 1, 2, 3. Maybe you did mental math. It would be good to check it. So we would get 34 for our answer there and 34 yards. Did you get 34 yards for your answer too? Good. All right, so let's see here. We did our, we wrote a number sentence. The last thing is a word sentence. So go to my question. How many yards of fencing do they need to put a fence around the garden? So they need, I'm going to do cursive again. You don't need to. They need 34 yards. But it is good practice for a cursive if you're working on it. They need 34 yards. Okay, there's that. How'd you do with that one? Good? Okay, you can pause your video if you need to finish it up, and then I'll meet you on the back when you're ready. All right, on the back, go ahead and put your finger on number 4 and on Marion. And will you follow along or read this right out loud with me? Okay, here we go. Marion paints a 5-pointed star on her bedroom wall. Each side of the star is 18 inches long. What is the perimeter of the star? Okay, so this is RDWW. So she paints a 5-pointed star on her bedroom wall. Each, there's that word, each. Let's tell us that we're going to multiply or divide. Each side of the star is 18 inches long. What is the perimeter of the star? Okay, read, done. Okay, so each side of the star is 18. So what am I going to do to the star? I'm going to label my sides of 18. Make sure you get them all, right? Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that gives us 10 sides. So we have perimeter equals, we would do 18 plus 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 18. Or we could do, there's 10 sides times 18. Do you remember what to do if we're multiplying by a multiple of 10? So basically what I can do is I can take this number 18, and if I'm multiplying by 10, I can just add a 0. So that gives me 180. Okay, I could totally do 18 plus 18 and do that 10 times. That would take a long time, right? So the trick is anytime we're multiplying by a multiple of 10, I take that number and then I just add a 0, right? Let me show you. Actually, I'm not going to show you that way because that would be a little more confusing because you wouldn't be multiplying a 1-digit number times a 2-digit number on this side. When I showed you, no, it was right here. When I showed you this trick, it was multiplying a 2-digit number times a 1. If I did it with this one, it would be a 2-digit times a 2-digit. So it would really just be easier here just to know that I take that number and I add the 0 because it's a multiple of 10. Okay, so 180, what is it? Inches. I was looking for my label, 180 inches. So we did a draw. They had our drawing. We just finished it. We wrote a number sentence. So the last thing is a word sentence. What is the perimeter of the star? So the perimeter is 180 inches. And I'm going to do the abbreviation for inches, which is IN. IN. Okay. All right, we're going to cross out number 6, and I would like you to pause right now and solve number 5 on your own. So go through that whole RDWW process for number 5, okay? So pause your video, do the RDWW for number 5, and then I'll meet you right back here and we'll go over it together, okay? And see how you did. Okay, so I'm hoping that you worked on number 5. So it's a RDWW, we already said, right? So the soccer team jogs around the outside of the soccer field twice. Did you catch that? Twice to warm up. The rectangular field measures 60 yards by 100 yards. What is the total number of yards the team jogs? I'm hoping that you caught that right there. Okay, so they jog around the outside of a soccer field. So that would be a rectangle, right? And the rectangular field measures 60 yards by 100. So if this is 60, this is 60. If this is 100, this is 100, right? So perimeter equals 100 plus 100 plus 60 plus 60. Okay, I know that 100 plus 100 is 200. 60 plus 60 is 120. And then I would add those two together. So did you use mental math or did you write it out? Either way works, right? If I'm to do 200 plus 120, that would be 320, and it would be 320 yards. Am I done? No, because they do this twice. So this would be 320 would be around one time, and they're going to do it again. So what would I do to find that answer? I'm going to add 320 and 320. Okay, I'm going to stick it over here. So 320 plus 320. Did you remember to do this step? If you missed that twice part, then you missed that, right? So we got to read carefully. 0 plus 0 is 0. 2 plus 2 is 4. And 3 plus 3 is 6. So 640. I got to squeeze my label in there. Yards. Okay. So 640 yards was the correct answer. Did you get that? Good. If you didn't get it, it's easy to miss that part. So we just have to be really careful, word detectives. And maybe you even drew this picture twice. Okay. Because that would work because they did do it twice. We did our draw. We wrote our number sentence. Last is a word sentence. What is the total number of yards the team jogs? So they, actually have a capital T, they jog 640 yards. That's it. Okay. All right, boys and girls. So that is perimeter and word problems. So that's what we were working on today. And once you know perimeter, you can kind of carry it into all different kinds of situations. We are pretty good at word problems. So we were just carrying that perimeter right in there. Okay. Super work today. And I'll see you tomorrow for some more math.